Oh man, welcome back to another episode of the Hoops All In podcast. As always, I'm your host, World's Francois, joined by my co-host Keith Baseman. Keith, man, how you doing? What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm good. We got the conference finals hasn't been as eventful so
Yeah, yeah.
far that
Mhm.
we've gotten, but I'm doing good. And I like the new hair too.
Yeah, thank you, man. You see, your boy got a new hairdo. You know, he had to update my braids a little bit. That left him in there for like 2 months, so I had to get updated. But yeah, got some hang time. My hair grew exponentially over the last 2 months, so I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. Thank you for the compliment, my brother. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on our social media at Hoops All In on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Hoops All In, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to Keith's personal YouTube channel at Keith HAI. Also, don't forget to listen to the audio version of the podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you stream your weekly or daily podcast. We are all on there everywhere. Subscribe and support the channel. It means a lot. Yes,
All right.
sir.
So for question of the day, we've got how do we feel about the NBA awards? Everything has been officially announced. We got the all NBA teams yesterday. And for anyone who doesn't know, that was the first team was Giannis, Shea, Jokic, Tatum, all unanimous, and then Donovan Mitchell was that fifth spot, which was kind of the only spot up for question, kind of in that first team. The second team was Anthony Edwards, LeBron, Curry, Mobley, and Brunson. And then third team was Cade, Cat, Halliburton, J Dub, and Harden.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that list at all. I would say I think when we did our first team, that's kind of like the similar players we had. Again, second team, not mad at that list at all either. I thought LeBron was probably going to be third team. That's the only question mark I had. But again, LeBron James had himself a good season as for a 40-year-old. And third team, kind of surprised a little bit at Halliburton, considering I don't think he was an all-star this year, even though he did came a little bit later on this year, turned up a little bit. So I'm just a little question mark about Halliburton. Doesn't take away the fact that he's a great player. But again, for the entire of the season, he wasn't a Tyrese Halliburton of last year. But yeah, I think overall, besides those two, LeBron and Tyrese, I think overall first, second, and third team was right on the money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, first team, I think again, pretty solidified. I could see some people saying instead of Mitchell, maybe like an Edwards or a Brunson or something. But
Yeah.
honestly, the things that the Cavs did, Mitchell deserves it, and I'm not mad about it. The thing you said about LeBron, what's up?
Hold on, I just noticed. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. I just noticed. Where are the Boston Celtics? No Tatum. I mean, sorry, not Tatum's there. Oh, is Jalen Brown? Jalen Brown wasn't. I don't
He
see
didn't
Jalen
have a
Brown
good
on here.
numbers here.
No. Okay.
I was I
Jaylen
was
Brown
I
at least
wasn't
at third
expecting
team.
him to make it.
Okay.
I
All
did
right.
a episode on my own channel where I was kind of ranking the top 25 players. I had Brown this season around like 20, 19,
Mm,
20. So that makes sense
okay.
for
Okay.
honest for me. I think he was probably one of the close people out,
Hmm.
which I actually have too. But the thing you said about LeBron is the way I feel about Curry. I thought Curry honestly would have been third team because he didn't have a great they weren't looking good at all. He wasn't really looking good at all until the Jimmy stuff happened. And I thought maybe Cade or Cat would have got a bump to second, but again, they're all here. It
Hmm.
third team versus second team, whatever. I love that J Dub got in here. I love it.
Yeah.
And then some other players that just missed out. Alperen Sengun was 10 was the next closest person. He was 10 points behind James Harden. Um, some other guys like Jaren, Zubac, Garland, Sabonis, Siakam, Bam, Trey Young, and Booker all got either a couple or a good amount of votes, but they just didn't end up making it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, MVP we found out officially was Shea. I think that's kind of where most people were aiming at this point in the season, anyways. Um, and we knew pretty much about the other awards for a little bit of time now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree.
But OKC is up 2-0 on the Timberwolves. Although currently they are down by over 30 points going into halftime almost to the Timberwolves in game 3, but is OKC the best team that we have seen since the first year of the KD Warriors?
In terms of like record wise, I would say probably yeah, because obviously it was the 2016 Warriors that won what 73 or 74
Mhm.
games. They broke the Bulls record.
Yeah.
Um, they're young, they have depth. They're probably just missing a couple of veterans. I'm trying to think. Let's see. The 2021 Bucks team were good. 2022 Warriors team obviously was less team, but Steph, Clay, that was like their last big ride.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. I would probably say maybe yeah, but for me to say officially yeah, they would have to close it out by winning a
Win.
title. They
Yeah.
have to because the Warriors won, so they have to win as well.
Um I don't personally take this OKC team over the KD Warriors, but the year right before where it is the best record team of all time.
Yeah,
Obviously lost 3-1 in the after being up 3-1 in the finals. I think I'm taking that OKC team. Like if they were to have a 7-game series, that 2016 team, the year before KD versus this current OKC team, I think I'd take OKC.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, because again, why? Because of like youthfulness.
Youthfulness, defense, I think is I would defense way better. Again, they really didn't have a center then either, just like now. And obviously, currently the OKC Thunder are running the double bigs of Chet and Hartenstein. Um, so I just think you talk about. I don't really necessarily. I'm not in love with the defense that I think they could play on the OKC Thunder team. While the other way, I think OKC could play better defense on them, even though
Yeah,
Curry's there, his own guy, prime Clay, whatever. Obviously, that was either defensive player of the year Draymond or the year after defensive player of the year Draymond. So it's still a great team, obviously, 73 wins. But
yeah.
I think if they were to match up against each other, I think I'd take this current Thunder team.
I'm not mad at that answer. I'm not mad at that answer. I mean, I would take the Warriors because again, Clay, I'm not Clay, Steph and KD, those are just mismatched nightmares no matter who. I
Oh,
mean,
I mean,
Steph and
but
Clay.
the year before KD though is the
Oh, the year.
73.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay. I thought you meant the 2007 Warriors. Oh
No,
yeah.
yeah,
Then yeah. I
yeah.
would definitely take this. OKC Thunder teammate. You're right. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
But how do we feel about this series? I mean, game one was a pretty bad beatdown. When I talked about this game, I believe the Timberwolves only had 88 points and they scored let me make sure I've got it right. They scored a total of 20 points in the paint to the
Sheesh.
Oklahoma City Thunder's 54 points in the paint. And I said if the Timberwolves can't get anything easy at the rim, 20 points in the paint is awful. This series is going to be a sweep.
Yeah.
They did do better on points in the paint in game 2, but
Mm.
ultimately still wasn't that great of a game, but and Randall didn't play the whole fourth quarter pretty much in that second game. He looked pretty bad after the first game where he was shooting lights out, but I don't know. OKC is just they're rolling right now. Shea's picked it up a little. The first 2 rounds, Shea hasn't had to do too much, but Shea's been playing pretty good in the first 2 games.
Yeah. I think this series will probably go 6 because again, I'll say at the time recording, Timberwolves are up big on OKC. So let's just say it's gonna be 2-1. OKC's
Mhm.
leads 2-1. I think that the Timberwolves, in terms again matchup for matchup, this is a good matchup for OKC because if you look at it, Randall kind of going up against Chet. I wouldn't say they cancel each other out, but Randall and Chet can hold their own. Obviously,
Mhm.
SGA going up against Ant Man, hold each other own. Um, Nas Reed going up against, let's see, maybe like a Isaiah Hartstein, kind of came each other out. So really, it's going to come down to the bench, and the Thunder just have a little bit of a deeper, more talented, and younger bench than the Timberwolves do. But yeah, I think it's going to go the distance. You know, a lot of people call Shea the free throw merchant because he's drawing fouls and deceiving the referees, and they're calling these little ticky tack fouls that aren't a foul. I think what Shea went to the free throw line last game 14 times, and people say, "Oh, that's the only reason why he won because he's drawing fouls." Like, hey, listen, you guys weren't complaining when James Harden did it. You guys weren't complaining when Kobe did it. You guys weren't complaining when LeBron James back in 2012 lived at the free throw line. Did we
Hmm.
not forget LeBron James' first ring, especially which a lot of fans thought that was a questionable finals against the Thunder when he literally went to the free throw line every single time he drove the ball. You could not breathe or sneeze on LeBron. If you did, it was going to be a flagrant foul, and the referees were tempted to throw you out the game. Okay, if you want to be mad at Shea for foul drawing, then okay, fine. But also be mad at the referees because they're the ones who are calling these fouls. This is what happens when you get superstar treatment. If it's that's part of the game. Hey, you know what? Let me embellish context. That's why there's so many floppers in the NBA as well. Draymond flops all the time. Conley flops sometimes. Smart flops sometimes. Like, come on, and Richard Jefferson said this perfectly on the Road Tripper podcast. When Shea averaged more free throws, I think it was last year or the year before, his earlier years with the Thunder, nobody said a damn thing because why? The Thunder weren't winning. They're winning 10, 20, 30 games. Now that the Thunder are the number one seed in the West and all eyes are on them, and Shea is the top dog, and this team is going to be around for the next decade because they're so young and they have 1,000 draft picks. Now it's a problem. It just goes to, the analysis that people always find something to argue or critique to be bitter about when they see greatness. Enjoy it. Okay. You don't like that he's foul baiting. Why don't you bitch about the other hundreds of players who do the exact same thing? Stop
Hmm.
it. Enjoy basketball. That doesn't take away from the fact that Shea is a great all around player and he's this year's MVP, deservedly so. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are a great team and they're the favorites to win the title this year. And if they don't win it this year, they're going to be the favorites moving on for the next 6, 7, 8 years. So
Hmm.
deal with the NBA Twitter. Cry some more is not going to change the fact that the Thunder are still a great team.
Yeah, 100%. And the way that I saw somebody explaining it that wasn't all about the right. Like Shea is a good foul drawer. There are times where he flops. There are times that every NBA player flops, whether you're the eighth man off the bench or you are the starter, whatever. But he's shooting less than 8 free throws a game this season. What is his averages? There
Mm-hmm.
were like Joel Embiid's MVP season, he shot like 11. Harden, I think, was at 12 one point. Jordan did it 4 different times more than Shea in MVP seasons.
Yep.
And now that I see the averages for the season has been brought up even more, like the less than 8. Now people are like, oh, it's not how much he gets to the line, it's how he's getting to the line. That's not what people were saying. Now you're just switching things up. But
Yep.
again, the way I saw somebody explaining it was Shea drives into the basket more than anybody in the NBA, more than Giannis, more than LeBron, more than anybody. If I was to drive to the basket 10 times in a game and I got fouled 5 times, but you, Worlds, drove to the basket 20 times, but you got fouled 10 times, we both got fouled like half of our attempts at the
Mm-hmm.
rim. But because you did it more, you're gonna get it seems like you're gonna get it more. But
Yeah.
we got fouled the same, half of the times that we drove. But
Yeah.
and there are times where he is legitimately getting like slapped, man. I mean, Jaden McDaniels just pushed him to the ground the other day and got
Yeah.
it was either a tech or a flagrant for it. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yeah, I'm just sick of it," or whatever. I'm like, man, whatever. I guess sometimes it's frustrating if it's a close game or whatever, or if it happens maybe 2 or 3 possessions in a row. But if it's such a cheap thing to do or such an easy way to get points, why isn't everyone a free throw? Why aren't teams averaging 70 free throws a game?
Exactly. Exactly. Hit the nail right on the head.
It's a
And
skill.
yeah, and again, and obviously before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say this. For the Timberwolves, if they have a chance of winning the series, when I think it's going to be OKC, Ant-Man, we all know again, Ant-Man has to be the de facto number one guy. Again, game one,
Yeah.
Randall was cooking and he had a great game, but the Timberwolves got blown out. What was it? 114 to 88. Game two, Ant-Man came out a little bit more aggressive, a lot more aggressive, actually, 32 points. But then Randall wet the bed, 6 points in
Yeah.
32 minutes. There are reason why they're one and two. Both
Mhm.
Ant-Man and Randall have to score above 20,
Yeah.
25 points a game to have a chance of beating this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And we're looking at right now, Edwards 20 points already. Randall well on his way to get, 20 points. Those two have to have a good game. And if they're having a good game, everybody else will fall in line because they know they're going to go as far as Ant-Man and Randall go. But that's all I want to say about
Yeah, that's yeah,
Timberwolves.
agree. I mean, when I did a video on this, the head like the title for my video was this could be an all-time defensive matchup when you look at the two teams that are playing. But my ultimate, when I predicted before the series, I said OKC in 7, but after that first game, it's like this is either going to be a super close 7-game series or OKC is just going to wipe the floor, like just 4 or 5 games, blowout, complete blowouts every game.
Mhm.
And obviously, it's looking more like the latter of the two. So,
Yep.
but let's talk about it, Knicks fans. Knicks fan, are the Pacers well roundedness enough to beat the Knicks up? They are also up 2-0. They play Game 3 tomorrow, going back to Indiana. But I mean, hey, this is looking like a series that the Knicks just got out of, where the team lost the first two home games, and it's not looking great. So I'll let you take the floor with this one.
Yeah, I was seeing game one with that miraculous comeback. I don't even know how the hell the Pacers pulled that off. They were down nine with literally 52.5 seconds left. I don't know if the Pacers performed some type of witchcraft at halftime. Neesmith went berserk and hit fucking six straight threes in the span of
Mhm.
like 40 seconds. It was absurd. And we had that insane Tyrese Halliburton bounce two, a three, but it was a two
Mhm.
that went in forced overtime. But yeah, that game one, I blame that. Obviously, again, the Knicks choked, no doubt about it. But I also blame that on Tom Thibodeau because again, what is Tom Thibodeau known for not doing? He known for not going and using his substitutions. He doesn't know what rotations are. And especially when the game went into overtime, they were giving up easy ass baskets. You talk about Nimhard had a cut to the basket wide open. When
Yeah.
you see guys
Mhm.
missing easy defensive rotations and they're getting blown by, that is a sign of dead legs. That means that they were tired. Brunson airballed a potentially what game tying three, and then Carl
Yeah.
Anthony Towns also missed a three. When the cameras caught to them, they were gasping for air like they were fish that just got out of water. They were exhausted, and it's a problem when you have the NBA Iron Man and Mikal Bridges who came out and told Tom Thibodeau, "Yo, you're playing us way too many minutes." Because he
Mhm.
doesn't miss a game. So if he's saying that, you're doing something wrong. But then game two, to Tibbs' credit, he went a little bit more to his bench. You probably heard, the criticism. So again, went a little bit more to his bench, not too much because Campaign only played 9 minutes, didn't give you zilch.
Yeah.
Bridges played 25 minutes, gave you 5 points. I don't know if Carl Anthony Towns was in some type of foul trouble. He played 28 points, 28 minutes, excuse me, had you 20 points. But if Cat wasn't in foul trouble, there is no excuse for him to play nothing less than 30 minutes. He should be
Yeah.
playing 35, 36 minutes, not all over 40, but at least that. And then Hart also played 28 minutes. I don't know if he was in foul trouble as well, but those two guys, Hart 6 points, Cat did his thing in 38 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, literally, when Mitchell Robinson got into the game, the Pacers went up double digits. And Mitchell Robinson is supposed to be better on defense than he is on offense because
Are you
we
talking
all
about
know
game 1 or game 2?
game two, excuse me. Yeah,
Oh,
game two. They went up. And we're just like, what the fuck? I would be shocked and surprised if Robinson is back on his team next year because you know that he is a liability on the offensive end. It's a hacker Robinson. They're gonna foul him, send him to the free throw line. He's been airballing free throws. We don't know what's going on. But the Pacers, to go back to the side of things, the Pacers, they are a good team. They are a great team. Rick Carlisle is a great Hall of Fame coach. There's a reason why he has a championship on his resume from 2011 with his days with the Dallas Mavericks. This was my biggest concern with the Knicks. The Pacers are too damn deep, especially at the 2 and the 3 position. We talk about Nimhard again, very good shooter. We talk about what's the other guy? McConnell again coming off the bench who can play defense. He's stifling. He can also knock down some shots. Matherin again hasn't really played that much in games to 11 minutes, but he's a big NBA guy, has an NBA body. Neesmith, who went berserk in game 1. Game 2 had himself a pretty solid game. Pascal Siakam, who looked like the second coming of Michael Jordan, game 2, dropped 39 points. These are just 2s and 3s. I haven't even gotten to Obi Toppin yet. Hell, even Ben Shepherd is valuable. So they are just so damn deep at the 2 and 3 position compared to the Knicks, who are not. Rick Carlisle goes 10-11 deep. Look at this game 2, which was a close game, obviously. Game 1, game 2, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys play over 10 minutes. Compared to Tom Thibodeau, had only 3 guys play over 10 minutes. Yeah. Rick Carlisle will empty out the bench. It's like, yo, we have players on this team. And this is I believe, I'm not in that Pacers locker room, but I believe this is their game plan. Just tire them out. They know Tibbs is not going to use a substitution. Just hang in there long enough with them, and the Knicks are going to shoot themselves in the foot. And that's exactly what we saw in game 1 with that collapse. And game 2, they just went to the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left to go. They just fell apart. You saw them. They started breathing heavy. They started putting their hands on the knees. That's a sign of when you really are tired. And again, easy layups, easy baskets. You're not playing defense. You're fussing and hussing and going after the other guy for missing easy defensive rotations, not communicating. That all plays to a sign of dead legs and tiredness. But yes, the Pacers are well-rounded enough team to beat the Knicks. This is me not being biased, it's subjective. I am really surprised at Indiana. It's not a fluke that they ended up here because they beat the Cavs despite the Cavs having injuries. Again, injuries are part of the game, but you look at this roster, they are a legit 10-11 man deep roster, and all those guys that they put on there can play. They are good. They are really good.
Yeah, and it's not even like their bench has been good too, but like you said, where their plan is probably good, just part of their plan is to just tire it out. It's like it's good enough that the Pacers have the option to even like say, okay, Hallie, you can sit for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
While the Knicks will be like, Brunson, you got 90 seconds at the end of the second quarter or something, And it's like they don't even necessarily like a TJ McConnell doesn't necessarily need to play lights out and drop 15 points. He just needs to hold things down and, like you said, just do their thing so the Knicks can't be like, okay, the scrubs are in, something like that, and they can get a little bit of a break. No, you got TJ McConnell, annoying little self, runs all around the court, and it's like, they've got plenty of other players. Obi Toppin came up big in that game 1 at the end of the game, but yeah, it's just the depth. I mean, that's also what made me pick the Pacers in 7 when we were previewing this. But yeah, I don't know. Like the Knicks again, they gotta figure something out. Whether no matter if they win this series and they win the NBA Finals, or if they get swept, they need to fix the depth no matter what happens this season for the rest of this playoffs, because it's not something that you can go through again. And now I know, Brunson makes a lot of money. Cat makes a lot of money. OG makes a lot of money. I think Mikal might be up for an extension either this year or next summer. So they don't necessarily have a lot of wiggle room, but you got to get something to work. And I'm kind of surprised Precious Achiuwa hasn't been playing. He played in the Boston series. He's played in the other series. So, yeah, the Knicks got things to figure out though, for sure. Halliburton could be the first Finals MVP that wasn't an All-Star in the same year since Iguodala. There's actually 8 people that have done this. That it kind of surprised me, like ever, not recently, but ever. The first in 1973. What's good about the 1973? Do you know?
Was it the Knicks?
The last time the Knicks won a championship. Willis Reed was Finals MVP, but wasn't an All-Star. 1978, Wes Unseld won it. and wasn't an all-star. Cedric Maxwell won it in 1981. Joe Dumars in 1989. Tim Duncan in 1999. Chauncey Billups in 04. Kawhi Leonard in 2014. And then obviously Iguodala in 15.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that if the Pacers do win the series, is it a Halliburton Finals MVP or is it maybe a Siakam MVP? Like, who do we think is more likely to win it?
I think they would give it to Halliburton because, again, I would say again, if we're rating off the entirety of the playoffs, Siakam has been good, but Tyler Halliburton hasn't been a scrub either. And again, Halliburton has hit some insane clutch shots because he's the go-to guy. That layup that he hit over Giannis in the first round, and then having that crazy comeback in that game-winning three, in that game-winning shot against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the second round, and again that bounce 2-point shot and against the Knicks in game one. So you're looking at these key moments. What's the consistent name that's been shown up in these key moments is Tyrese Halliburton. Now, again, it's not the playoff MVP, the finals MVP. So only going to go to the finals. I think that they will give it to him because, again, media bias and whatnot. They see like, list, Siakam and Tyrese have been playing great, but who has always hit the key shot to put them up? That's Tyrese. Who is hey, you're the go-to guy. We're going to put the ball in your hands and you're going to make a play. Whether it's 10 seconds left, 15 seconds left, 5 seconds left, go Tyrese, make something happen, win us the game. So I think, yes, I think Halliburton can be the first finals MVP that wasn't an all-star since Iguodala. Again, the only reason why he wasn't an all-star because he started off the year off slow, but Tyrese Halliburton is a perennial all-star player every single year. And this year, he showed the haters that all that overratedness that who's voted the most overrated player by his peers through an anonymous vote. Yeah, he shut that shit up this year. They're gonna have to pick somebody else to be overrated because he shut all that. He shut all that noise down.
So if Halliburton say averages 18 and 11 in the finals, but Siakam averages 28 and 7, who you think they'll still give it to Halliburton just because he does more of everything, like the playmaking, he's the guy running the show and everything like that?
Yeah, and again, media people are gonna have a vote for it. They're gonna be like, "Well, look at the shots that he hit to put them in that position." That's my opinion.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
I think it most likely would go to Halliburton again, unless Siakam averages again, like I said, like close to 30, and Halliburton, maybe wasn't on because we know, right? A thing with Halliburton, is he either will have 32 and 11 one game, or he'll have like 17 and like 11, like 17 and like 8 or something. It's really like he's one of those players that I don't know what the stat is. I don't know if I brought this up last episode, but if he makes like his first shot of the game, he ends up shooting more shots in that game. Where if he misses his first shot, right, like his confidence gets lowered, he doesn't shoot as much. It's a weird thing, but he's one of the players that has been a consistent thing throughout with him. So I do think that it is close. Like I do think this, if they do win, it could be another year where it's like, maybe not the 1A gets it, right? Like Brown is considerably the 1B last year for the Celtics, but he got it because he was defending Luka and he was doing things like that. Like I think this could be another situation where Hallie is probably the biggest name and star player. He was in the Olympics and everything, but I think that there is a real world where a Pascal could get it.
Yeah.
Would that make, if Pascal does win it, Finals MVP, does that make him a Hall of Famer? Because this would be his second ring, right? Because he was on Toronto with Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
Would this put him on track for the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, if he wins a second ring and Finals MVP, or even if he wins a second ring without Finals MVP, I think so. Yeah, because we've seen players, especially now, get into the Hall of Fame with less, accomplishments on their resume. And we looking at Siakam's stats. Again, we talked about him winning 2019 NBA championship with the Raptors. He's already a 3-time All-Star. He's an all-second team back in 2020, all-third team back in 2022. He was the most improved player back in 2019, the year he won a championship. And again, he's a D-League champion. He's a D-League MVP. Yeah, and we don't talk about his college days. He was even high school. He was All-American honorable mention and WAC Player of the Year in 2016 and WAC Freshman of the Year. So all that, I mean, he's not going to be first ballot. Don't get me wrong, but he'll
Yeah.
probably get it maybe his third or fourth shot going in because 2 championships and he's got a couple, all stars and second and third team. I think that's just about put him in the Hall of Fame conversation. What about you? Because I think Drew Holiday is already a Hall of Famer with a second ring.
Yeah, those that I was gonna bring that up because there was a video that I did. I keep talking about my personal channel, but where I looked at the Hall of Fame chances of current NBA players, and
Mm-hmm.
like I think Jalen Brown had like a 2% chance or something,
Mm.
and he was the final MVP. Granted, he doesn't have 2 rings, and he didn't make a ton of All Stars, but there's a world where I think like Pascal, again, I don't know if he would be a first ballot. I think he would maybe have to make some more All-Stars, maybe get a couple more All-NBAs to be like a lock. But
Yeah,
I definitely think that he would make it probably eventually. But
yeah,
I agree with the maybe not first. As soon as he's eligible, boom, he's in right away.
yeah. No.
But with the way that this is looking so far for OKC, as of right now, they are up 2-0 with whatever happens in game 3. But was Denver gonna be OKC's best competition they will see all playoffs? If they do, make it to the finals and win, do you think that the Timberwolves or the Knicks/Pacers would give OKC more trouble than Denver did?
That's a good question. I think the Pacers would be a better matchup for the Thunder than the Knicks because again, they're a deeper team, especially at that 4 and 5 position.
Mhm.
Looking at the box scores going up against the Nuggets in round two. Again, first game was a close game. Denver won by 2. I believe Eric Gordon hit a game winner. Game one, excuse me. Then game two, Thunder blew him out. Game three, Nuggets won with like by over 11. Game four, Thunder won by close. Game five was another close game. Game six, somewhat of a close game. Game seven, again, it was a blowout.
And
I
Shea
would,
didn't have a great series in that
yeah,
either, which is, I think,
yeah,
a big part that you have to take into consideration.
that is true. If Shea did have a good series, probably the numbers would be a little bit more bigger.
Mhm.
Um, I would probably say maybe the Timberwolves would probably be their toughest competition, because again, I was just not a fan of the Nuggets firing Mike Malone. There was no reason to fire him, and now when
Mhm.
you have a new voice in the locker room, that throws players off. And we've seen again in that series, Jokic body language was awful. He looked
Yeah,
frustrated, and he was kind of
he
looked like
didn't
he was
look
pointing
great either.
blame, yeah, at his teammates. So if you have everybody clicking on all cylinders and Jokic was Jokic and they didn't fire Mike Malone, they probably would be a different outcome. I think Denver would have had a good chance at beating OKC if they had all those pieces together. But since that happened, I'm probably gonna again because the NBA Finals are not here yet at the time of recording.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say the Timberwolves are gonna be their best competition because again they just match up a little bit better and against surrounding circumstances that the Nuggets have to face. I think right now would be their better competition. I mean, hell, they're getting their ass kicked by 20 right now
Yeah.
against Minnesota, and like I said, Randall's having a decent game. Edwards is going crazy. Nas Reed is having a good game. Those are the 3 guys for the Timberwolves who can be consistent, who can win at any matchup. They're the big 3. Hell, even Jaden McDaniels, who's more of a defensive minded guy, he had a solid game in last game too. So yeah, I think I would say the Timberwolves because again of the matchup. Nikhil Alexander Walker, who's Shea's cousin, he knows him pretty well too. He's
Yeah.
also has some good scoring. Dante DiVincenzo has been up and down with his 3-point shot, but when he has it going, he has it going. Rudy Gobert again. We make fun of him being a liability on defensive end, but he's had some pretty good defensive stops in this postseason, and he had a crazy Will Chamberlain like game against the Lakers in the first round. Mike Conley on his last legs, but he's still a veteran leadership in the locker room.
Mhm.
So yeah, again, you know with Timberwolves are just a little bit more deeper team that match up a little bit more better. But if Denver didn't had to go through the situation that they go through, I would have said the Denver for sure. but you're looking at the body language wasn't there. I don't Eric Gordon didn't play the last game, so that also played a difference as well to why they got blown out. So I would say with everything that happened, I would say the Timberwolves are the best competition so far in the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would have to go with Denver just because they did extend Adelman, so he is going to be their head coach for the future. Um,
Okay.
I didn't see any numbers when Shams announced it a few days ago, but he is going to be their head coach at least for next year. But yeah, I think when you take into consideration again that both Shea and Jokic didn't have their best series. They kind of games in the middle there. Shea didn't look great. Jokic didn't look great. And the fact that, again, I don't think that, Denver, like OKC was for sure the better team, but Denver is kind of going through the same thing that New York is kind of going through, where Denver's bench might be worse than New York's, which that's saying something. But
Mhm.
again, you have the best player in the league, so you kind of always have a chance. That's how we felt with LeBron throughout the 2010s, throughout excuse me, and everything like that. But I think when you just look at how much fight that again the Nuggets had, and again, even though they were probably the overwhelming underdog in that. I think they gave them the best fight, and I mean, even if Minnesota wins this game, I can't see Minnesota doing this four times in this series. I think no matter who it is, whether again it looks like it's going to be Indiana, but whether it's Indiana or New York, we were just talking about how New York can't keep up with the Pacers' depth. The Nuggets blows that, like, maybe doesn't blow it out the water, but the Nuggets bench is better. They're younger, they're faster, they're better defensively, and they're just overwhelming. Obviously, a better team being a 68 win team, but and I think that everything that the
Oh,
Pacers have been
you mean
able
Thunder?
to,
You mean OKC, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the Pacers, everything that they have been able to thrive on in the East, I
Mhm.
think the Thunder can shut that down. Like
Mhm.
literally everything. Halliburton, Siakam, the bench, the shooting, because you look at it and it's like the first two series, right? Uh the Pacers with the stretchability of Miles Turner and Siakam has been a pretty big part, like against Cleveland, right? Mobley and Allen aren't really Mobley's getting better at being able to stretch the floor, but they didn't, they're not great. They didn't even have a backup center. And then the Bucks, obviously, Giannis isn't a perimeter threat. So I think again that's something else that OKC will be able to, pretty much counter. So I think that Denver might be the best, most competition they see. And there's a real world where OKC handles the rest of these playoffs pretty much no problem.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not mad. Yeah, because again, we all have the OKC Thunder winning it, so I'm not mad at that. I just said based off what we've seen. Like I said, I would have said Denver too, but all that when your star player has that type of body language, and again you fire a coach, not everybody's gonna be clicking on all cylinders. There's gonna be some ruffle feathers, but yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I do think Minnesota would be second.
Yeah.
Whether OKC somehow comes back or they, whatever, I think Minnesota would be second though. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
mad at your answer either. But last thing we kind of got here, I've got a couple potential trades that I've just seen. Some of them were on Fanspo, some of them were from Instagram. I took a couple screenshots. I actually have three total. So we're gonna start with this one. This is a three-teamer for the Mavericks, the Lakers, and the Trailblazers. Bear with me, the Trailblazers get a lot of things in this since it's a three-teamer, but the Trailblazers get Maxi Kleber, Caleb Martin, Dalton Connect,
Mhm.
Dwight Powell, the Lakers 29 unprotected, a 2031 first round pick, and 2030 swap rights. The Mavericks get Anthony Simons, and the Lakers get Daniel Gafford.
Okay, because the Lakers do need a center, and
Mm.
Mavericks they're very deep at that center position, especially they're gonna draft another big body in Cooper Flag. The honestly, I'm not mad at that trade because again, Blazers are in rebuild mode.
Mhm.
But I don't think the Lakers would give up a first round pick for Daniel Gafford because I think that's the only first round pick that they have, or one of their few first round picks that they have, right? And
That
what you
well,
said,
the 2029 Lakers unprotected is what you're talking about, I assume?
yeah, yeah,
That was one that was included in the Luka trade. So that's coming from the Mavs, but it is a Lakers pick, if that makes so
okay,
like the Mavs have as of today, the Mavs own that pick from the Luka trade, but the Mavericks are the team giving it up because they're getting
okay.
Anthony Simons in this.
Oh, so it's from the Mavs. Okay. But yeah, like again, I'm trying to think from all sides because again, if you're Nico Harrison, who did a coup with Adam Silver. Yeah, to have another guard that can handle the ball because Kyrie's gonna be out for half the year next year.
Mhm.
That's a good trade for them. Because I thought the Lakers were trading their pick because they wouldn't do a first round pick just to get Daniel Gafford. I don't think he's worth that. But okay, I think yeah, in all, every team gets what they need. The Lakers desperately they need a center. If
Even though
me,
they're giving up Connect,
I mean, hell, they trade him before for
I'm just
Arvilla.
making sure Connect was your guy earlier
Yeah,
in this
I
when we were doing this.
yeah, he is my guy. But hey, the Rob Pelinka and the Lakers say, "Hell, we'll give you to get a center," and so
I think Daniel Gafford is probably the second best type of center that you can get. I think first it's the most unrealistic, and you would have to see if this team would be willing to do it. But it's if
mhm.
the Cavs want to move Mobley to the 5 and get rid of Jared Allen. I think Jared Allen would be the best chance, the best
Yeah,
center for the Lakers, but that might be a little too rich and a little too,
yeah,
out of reach for them just because Jared Allen only makes $20 million. I believe he's wrapped up for a little while. I don't know his
yeah,
contract exactly, but I do think Daniel Gafford is the second best option behind Jared Allen.
yeah. Jared Allen, yeah, I think he signed like what a 3 year, 90 million extension. He's gonna be on the books until the 2029, 2030 season. That's when he'll be
No, see,
unrestricted
that's
free
even
agent
more
at
perfect,
31.
honestly. And I think it's
Yeah,
20 million across the board. I don't think it rises or goes down in like the later years. I think it's a flat um contract. I don't know if you can see that or not,
yeah.
but
I'm looking at Spot Track right now. Next year he's gonna be get paid 28 million. Then the following year 30 million. Then his last year on the books 32 million.
maybe
If
that's the contract he was just finishing. Yeah, it is because so the
okay,
contract
yeah.
that he's finishing up, but he got an extension to where it will go up. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, Anthony Simons can be, the starting guard alongside Clay while Kyrie's hurt. When Kyrie comes back, Anthony Simons, one of the best bench players in the league, or maybe they push Clay to the bench, who knows? But
Or retire.
yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Let me just say this: if I'm Jared Allen, I do not want to go to the Lakers. And let me just go on a little mini
Really?
Lakers rant. No, here's okay. Yes, playing with Luke and LeBron is fantastic, great. But every time the Lakers trade for key role players, the role players that they trade for, end up becoming worse when they play for the Lakers. I don't know if it's like a LeBron effect. Like, look at the plays that they had before. Dwight Howard when he went there. Ever since then, he left. I think he's out. He had to retire.
He was like
Rajon Rondo.
70 though.
Yeah, but he was still could play. Rajon Rondo. Oh, that was a great pickup for them.
He was
After
also
that,
like
he had to
70.
retire. They shitted on D'Angelo Russell. Now now Lakers fans want to trade Austin Reeves, who was the third best player. He has one bad series. They want him off the team. I'm seeing Austin Reeves names pop up in trade rumors. Rui Hachimura, they want to trade him. Jared Vanderbilt. They made Russell Westbrook a scapegoat. So it was like
Yeah.
anybody who
But
becomes a
I think
good role
Jared
player.
Allen currently is us like a tier better than all those guys were with the Lakers. Like I think he's better than what Lakers Westbrook was. He's better than what like 40-year-old Dwight Howard and Rondo was.
Nah, I mean he like right now better, but I'm talking about when they first acquired Westbrook from Washington. Westbrook was clearly a better player
Yeah,
than Allen. Then when he got there, he became like a fucking a punching bag. Same thing, D'Angelo Russell, valuable point guard getting from the Timberwolves. The minute he got there, he became a punching bag. Like what the hell? Dwight Howard, oh, he's a good center. Even though he was later, he was still a very solid defensive center. The minute he gets there, he became the punching bag. It's just like, yo, every team that the Lakers trade for, they just get worse. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a LeBron James effect. Like, yo, the Lakers, they ran Patrick Beverly out of the league. Patrick Beverly was considered a good signing. When you end up on Bleacher Report and they Photoshop you next to LeBron and AD, they're like, oh, this is what the Lakers needed. He didn't even last a full year on that team. Same thing with Mo Bamba. Same thing, I mean, come on, man. Wendell Gabriel, like it's. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's that LeBron cloud that playing with the Lakers and playing with LeBron, and now Luka. That expectation is going to be tremendous. I'm just saying, if I'm Jared Allen, keep me the hell away from the purple and gold. Hell, look, Kate Bazemore back in 21, the year after they won a championship, he was a solid player. After that, I don't even know what team he played for now. They forced Trevor Ariza out the league. Yeah, KCP. They forced him on. They forced him to go to Denver. So no. Dennis Schroeder. He got bounced around like 8 times after he was on the Lakers. Oh hell no, yo, get me. Do not put me next to LeBron. That's my little ring.
So the next trade. So the last 2 trades actually include your Brooklyn Nets. So
okay,
that's another reason that I mainly screenshotted this. But
mm-hmm.
so these actually are all 3-teamers. So this 3-teamer is the Lakers, the Nets, and the Celtics. So we can get a little bit of both point of views here. So the Nets get a lot. I can repeat this if you need. So the Nets get Kristaps, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, the 28th pick in this year's draft, the 32nd pick in this year's draft. They get 2 2026 second rounders.
Damn.
They get the 2031 Lakers unprotected pick. And then they get 2028 and 2030 swap picks with the Lakers. That's a lot. That's what the Nets are getting. The Celtics would get Cam Johnson, Drew Timme, the 19th pick in this year's draft, and the 36th pick in this year's draft.
Okay.
And then the Lakers get Claxton.
Okay. You repeat what the Nets got again? So pretty much they're going to trade Cam Johnson, away Cam Johnson and Claxton. Okay.
Yes, and they get Porzingis, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleber. All those players are on 1-year deals, so they would be free agents next summer.
Mm-hmm.
They get the 28th and 32nd pick in this year's draft. They get 2 second rounders, and then they get 2 swap first round picks from the Lakers, and then the 2031 unprotected Lakers pick.
I understand why that was a trade proposal idea, because the Nets are rebuilding and that would clear a whole bunch of cap. Mm-hmm. But I think their second most valuable player is Nick Claxton. And if the Nets do decide to get rid of him, who are they going to have to start at center? I like Nick Claxton again. His numbers. No, hell no. Porzingis, we don't know what's going on. Porzingis, hell no.
That's what's in the trade.
No, his health is a big question mark. Hell no.
But it's not like the Nets are getting ready to make a swing this, we'll see how free agency goes, but it's not like they're pushing for the 5th seed this year.
No. I keep on the Claxton. He's 26. They just signed him to an extension. It was like 4 years, $100 million. He's 25, not gonna be 26 until later October, whatever the case may be. He's young. Obviously, again, you're not going to rebuild around Claxton, but he is a valuable centerpiece, and I'm not going to trade him away just to get Porzingis, who's probably going to get waived or rerouted to another trade.
Even though you're getting in total 4 first-round picks for those 2 players, and you're getting more cap flexibility for next offseason, because this offseason isn't really great. It's like LeBron, who's going to re-sign, James Harden, who's probably going to re-sign, and then I don't know, a bunch of restricted guys like Wemby in his draft class.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Those first-round picks don't mean nothing if Adam Silver is going to rig the draft lottery. So what's the point? You can have 15 first-round picks. If Adam Silver don't want you to have the first overall pick, it don't mean much. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like again, for him, yes, to get those picks. But they have they're gonna have high picks of their own because the Nets are gonna be asked for God knows how long. And no, I don't. I just like Claxton what he brings to the table defensively, and he has a high motor. Now again, there's been rumors about the Nets wanting to trade Cam Johnson, so that I'm fine with because I believe what is his contract? Cam Johnson makes a little bit more, or he might be on
He's 20.
20. Yeah, so 4 years, 95 million. Yeah, so he makes a tad bit more. So and again, they want to get rid of him to restart. I get it. But no, I would keep Claxton. I would definitely possibly look at trading Cam. Yeah, he's 28, gonna be 29. So he's not old. He's young as hell. But in NBA terms, as soon as you reach 30, oh, you old.
You're
But yeah, no, for the Nets' sake, no. Because again, they're gonna probably just wait Porzingis or reroute him to another trade. I get the cap flexibility in the cap and the first round picks, but no. For the Celtics' sake, for your sake, yeah, because again, Cam Johnson, you kind of fill in a void for not having Tatum all next year due to that torn Achilles. And for the Lakers, who the Lakers getting again? Was it for
Clax.
Claxton? They need a center. Not mad at that, but from my Nets perspective, I wouldn't do that trade. Everybody else is good for them. They get what they need,
I
but for
will
me,
say
no.
the first round picks you're getting, they're not, at least as of today, very right. Like the 28th pick, that's from my Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then which I'm kind of surprised because you guys are giving us Milwaukee's pick, which is the 19th pick. I don't know why you guys wouldn't hold on to that, but
Exactly.
and then the three Lakers picks that are like in 4, 5, 6 years, they're the Lakers. They now have Luca, so they might not be anything crazy. So
Yeah.
I can see that the person that made this had a Luke Cornett Celtics photo as
Of
his
course.
user. So that's why I asked because I liked it, but I wanted to make sure, especially since we've got a New York guy here. But I can understand that. And then the last one is another Nets trade. So between the Nets, the Warriors, and the Hornets.
Okay.
So the Hornets would get Moses Moody and Trace Jackson Davis and a 2032 first round pick. I don't know who these picks are from. It doesn't tell me the team. It's just literally a screenshot of like a photo. So that's what the Hornets get. The Warriors get Mark Williams, Cam Johnson, and then Josh Okogie. And then the Nets get Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and a 2028 first. And you don't give up Clax. You just give up Cam Johnson.
I like that for the Nets. Oh yeah, if I'm Sean Marks, finally do something right in your career as a Nets general manager and do that trade because again, we all know Kuminga's not going to be back on the team next year. They're going to do sign a trade. Yeah. You have a possible face of the franchise. He gets to spread his wings in New York. He's going to be in the shadow of the Knicks. He's going to be the number one option. I like that. Oh yeah, and we don't give up Claxton. And who else did the Nets get in that trade again? Because it was
the
a lot.
Nets get Buddy Kuminga, and a 28 first.
Yeah, you got a veteran, a knockdown 3-point shooter.
And I think he's on a 1-year deal now too. So next summer, I think he's off the books too. Okay, I think it's only like $9 million, but
yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, the big prize is Kuminga. Then again, the Warriors, they get Cam Johnson's for giving up Kuminga, who's on the books for the next couple of years too. So he fits right within the Warriors time window and is a little bit younger, but is a vet, more mature.
And they get Mark Williams.
Yeah, I like that for the Warriors' sake. And then let me see what the other team. Because sorry, there was
Charlotte got Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, who will pretty much replace Mark Williams, and then 2032 first, which I like the Trace Jackson because he wasn't playing either, and I think he can be good. So
honestly, that's a good trade. That's a great trade, actually. No, they should literally pull it out because everybody wins.
Yeah.
Everybody wins. Hornets wanted to get rid of Mark Williams, try to trade again. Trace Jackson, like you mentioned, very good play. Yeah, no, that's a win-win for everybody in that trade. I like that trade a lot.
All right. Well, those were the three trades that I had.
All right. I like that trade. Hey, listen, man, we need a face of the franchise in Brooklyn because since we didn't get the top 3 pick, Barclays Center tickets are gonna be sold for like $5 a pop for sleep, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, that was okay. I like that. Very good topics. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Hoops All In podcast. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at Hoops All In on Instagram, TikTok, and X/Twitter. Subscribe and follow Keith's personal YouTube channel at Keith HAI. And also listen to our audio version of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. Also subscribe to the Hoops All In YouTube channel at Hoops All In. For World's Francois, Keith Bazin signing off. We'll be back next time for another great episode of the Hoops All In podcast. Catch you guys later. Peep the fresh hair.